This NFL Draft Grades and NBA Best Bets edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy pick'em for a chance to win 100x in NBA, golf, MLB, MMA, NHL, and more. Sign up today at UnderdogFantasy.com using promo code SGPN to get a 100% deposit match.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. Before we get started, I'd just like to thank the troops, honoring the troops here, just like Commissioner Goodell. Love the way he gets in front of it, puts the troops in front of an angry mob.
The rotating cast of human shields that Goodell uses to prevent. And here's this guy who here's Lance Corporal Stevenson who got a Purple Heart there over serving our great nation. Oh, hey, everyone say hi to him, and then like. Oh, the boo! Hey, here's this this person with special needs who've overcome adversity, a hero, and then he really is going out of his way. I mean, they brought out Eminem. The commissioner did everything he could to avoid just facing the line of fire himself and getting booed. Walk out there as yourself, get booed, and then. I think it is cool that they do celebrate cool, interesting people that the league. They do a lot of great charity work. Fine, but you go up there, you take it like a man, Goodell. You get booed, and then everyone can get out of their system and cheer the people who deserve to be cheered. It's kind of a baby book.
I'd also suggest maybe skip the German accents during the international round. It just sounds too evil. There's just some accents.
I mean, yeah. Especially Goodell. I mean, he looks like he'd be like walking around in camp with a dog, keeping an eye on people. He's got the
to honor the NFL. We're going to march around the stadium. No. We don't need any no marches. No marches.
Fucking Goodell. Shout out to Detroit. I thought City of Detroit
A+. That's my grade for Detroit.
City of Detroit really came off great. Shout out to Easy. I saw him in the chat. Big Balls, Derek, all our Detroit buddies out there. And I saw some. I was reading an article about how like Detroit's turning into a vacation destination. So shout out to Detroit. Sounds like they're turning things around. Ryan,
what's the top cities that have hosted the draft? What do you think? Is this the top spot?
I mean, Philly did a good job. I think.
Did they have that many people out there though?
Yeah. Or almost. I mean, I don't know.
I feel like I don't remember a visual.
Oh, you don't remember the?
No, I remember
the shot of the art.
Oh, 100%. I just think there was more space in this Detroit setup. I could be wrong, but I think both were pretty impressive. I mean, it feels like every draft has been impressive because they hire. I don't want to say anything bad about the NFL.
No,
but
I mean
they hire a whole team of people.
Now you're making me pull a photo that I'm going to send to producer Josh.
No,
highlighting.
This is not like it meant to be a contentious point. I just don't remember it being as deep the crowd as it was in Detroit. I thought it was impressive because it looked like a crazy concert situation. Now I remember the sprawling. I mean, almost every city has had sprawling effects.
I don't know. I like Vegas as much as I love Vegas. I don't know if it's like a NFL draft city.
I would say the visuals of where they were doing the draft was certainly fun.
Well, I think Vegas suffers from, and didn't they do it in Arizona recently? I'm trying to think of like some towns where it wasn't quite as fun. It needs to almost be. I think it needs to be a cold weather place like Philly.
Interesting. Why is that?
Well, because I think there's an urgency to go out. Hey, it's a spring day. I'm going to go out. I don't know. To me, that's part of the appeal.
Okay, so Chicago hosted it in 2015 and 2016. I remember I was there for one of those, and it was there was a kind of an interesting takeover of the city, but not quite the visual.
What I don't really remember Kansas City.
Don't remember Kansas City. Don't remember Dallas.
No, Dallas is not a good one. I think Kansas City also suffers from the fact that their team, they come out for parades for a Super Bowl. So for the draft, it's not quite as interesting. Whereas Detroit, and not a lot of, big events coming to Detroit, super stoked and came out and it was awesome events. Shout out to the NFL again. They get 275,000 people to watch reading a note card. It's pretty awesome.
To your point, it should really be the inverse of the cities that host the Super Bowl should not be allowed to host drafts. That should be the rule.
It's a different crowd. Sergio in the chat saying Detroit set some all-time records. So hats off to you.
There
Detroit.
you go.
It was
to my point.
What did I say? I think Philly's pretty close.
I mean, sure. It wasn't meant to.
Why are you chirping at Philly?
It wasn't meant to speak down to Philly. It was more just to say that the Detroit impressive showing. That's all.
Yeah. No.
Didn't
awesome
remember seeing a bigger crowd. And I will say the crowd was impressive even on the weekend. I don't know if you flipped on the old television to watch rounds 4 through 7.
Oh, they weren't checking out the UFL game, Ryan?
No, I'm joking because I know you were watching the draft because you were losing your mind about Mr. Trotter.
Oh, Axeman Jr. He even does the axe celebration.
The worst thing is someone is a child of a great player that you remember because they're never going to be as great as the player you remember.
Well,
but they're always
but he's also playing for the same team. Can you? I'm trying to remember. I mean, is there any Giants players that were like a legend?
This just happened with Porter with Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So I mean,
and Joey Porter Jr. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's
it's less notable, but I want to say recently one of the Giants draft picks had like a dad who played for the team back like no one notable again.
Axeman.
No, again, it happens from time to time.
That's how he got strong. Ryan was chopping wood.
Yeah, I like those stories. I mean, Edgerrin James with the watermelons. I mean, Herschel Walker or Bo Jackson chasing trains. Natural strength, they call it organic.
Yes. Rocky style strength. All right, let's get into it. We're going to do some NFL draft grades, give our 2 cents. My favorite part about doing NFL draft grades, you can't grade the draft until years from now. Watch us. Yep. Watch us grade the draft. You can't stop us.
It's the end of our. This is the end of the men's soap opera season.
Why do people get so mad? Oh, you want to grade a draft? Grade the 2021 draft, okay? Then you can grade it. No, the whole point is, every day, every episode, we're giving out predictions. Sometimes they're wrong, and we eat it. Sometimes they're right, and we celebrate it. Also, it's celebrating stuff when you win is fun. And getting back to that point of, hey, yeah, if I kill the draft and I'm wrong, then the Detroit Lions fan base will find the clip a year from now and try to shove it down my face. I still stand by my bad draft grade for taking Jahmyr Gibbs that early in the first draft.
You can't be measured yet.
Yeah,
judge me in 3 years.
Well, seriously, the whole point about you I know you're joking, Ryan, but when you're taking a top 10 pick, the goal is to get him to the second contract. That means it's a successful. I think if you're picking in the top 15, you got to get him to the second contract, or it's not a successful pick.
I think in general,
and good luck in a running back to a second contract.
If you wanted to boil down like drafting success to one thing, that's it right there. How many guys on your roster are second contracts? You want to look at you want to look at a bad GM like Gettleman. That was the issue. Not a lot of second contracts there. And so, certainly it hurts the higher you go up the board. But what I find funny about the don't give out grades crowd, they're the same crowd that'll be like, I look at what Atlanta did and I can't figure it out from a structural standpoint. They
give them a bad grade.
Yeah. So you don't like what they did. Just like when you're raving about what the Bears did, you like what they did. That's a good grade. We all went to school.
Right. Before we start, I feel like we got to get
fucking pussies.
Got to get on the same page. What is our grading criteria? Because
what do you mean?
I don't want to get too in the weeds. But is it like, hey, you like what they did? Let's say a team like the Cleveland Browns don't have a first round pick. Are we holding that against them? Because technically you should be like, hey, Deshaun Watson was part of this haul here.
I
do you count that against them not having
the void? I include the so if the void was created by the acquisition of a player,
yeah,
that's included in the grade.
Okay, so if they don't have a first round pick
because of Deshaun Watson,
traded for a guy
bad.
that is not worth it, okay, then we can grade them bad. I just want to be on the same
because
page.
you continually have to remind them of the bad decision, and so you can't just be like, well, they did this really horrible thing once. We're only going to punish them once. No, you gave away 3 first round picks. You get punished 3 times.
I think that's fair.
It's a simple formula. All right.
UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Sign up there, get the 100% deposit match. Just saw a guy say, hey, first time I'm in Florida. I'm able to play the champions head to head.
Wet.
Which is super awesome. Again, if you're in Florida and have never played Underdog, get in and play their new champions game. Highly recommend it. And Underdog available in a ton of states, including California, including Texas, and including Canada. That's their copy. They're kind of, I think, almost implying because it says Underdog is available in 30 states. 30 plus states, including California, Texas, and Canada. Now, Underdog's kind of implying that Canada is a state. I recognize Canada as its own sovereign country, a country that can play Underdog Fantasy. Get in on their pick'em. Use that promo code SGPN. Get you 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And Best Ball Mania, what is it, 5, Ryan?
Oh yeah,
launching. I think tomorrow, maybe today, depending on when you're listening to this. $25 an entry, first place, $1.5 million. Oh my God. Best ball, so fun to play, especially now we know where everyone has been drafted. So I'm sure we'll be doing a ton more best ball drafts between now and the kickoff of the season. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Let's get grading here, Ryan. Most of my grades will revolve around the first couple rounds. Some of these deeper guys, like Arizona Cardinals, first up.
Real quick, California does have 1 million more people than Canada. Worth notice.
Okay,
that's something to note. To your earlier point of being listed in that order. All right, yeah, Arizona, go.
Arizona, Marvin Harrison, obviously from Ohio State, receiver Darius Robinson from Missouri. 2nd round pick Max Melton, cornerback from Rutgers. They also got Trey Benson. How would you grade the Arizona Cardinals, Ryan?
So I know Max Melton was a guy the Giants liked. I think was it Belichick or Saban? One of those guys listed him as like one of his like kind of sneaky guys in this draft. We talked about Darius Robinson as a dark horse. On VSiN. We'll be breaking down the Rookie of the Year market, Sean, on Monday on the pod. To me, when you look, they had so many picks early. So many people shit on the Texans last year for the trade they made. So you have to kind of give the Cardinals a bump because everyone felt like they so won that trade, getting the extra stuff. You look at how many picks they had in the top 100. It's hard to not give them a good grade. And they took a bunch of guys that I liked: Marvin Harrison, Darius Robinson, Max Melton, Trey Benson. We talked about. I want to say we talked on the show about TDD down at Texas. We might have been laughing about that name with Colby. A lot of guys in the draft. I mean, these are all basically top 5 round picks, so it's hard to not give the Cardinals a high grade here. Yeah. And what would your grounds for giving them a bad grade be?
So I'll say I still think they
offensive line.
Yeah, I don't think they addressed. They took Isaiah Adams with the 71st pick overall out of Illinois. I would have liked to see one of those, specifically Fuaga at 4. But I would have liked
a betting thing that you're
no, Ryan, not at all. Okay. No, I do think they needed to use one of those first round picks on a offensive lineman. I'm fine with the decision to stay put at Marvin Harrison Jr. there. And again, Jonathan Gannon, an edge rusher like Darius Robinson could be really good in that program, but maybe first 2 rounds, I would have liked to see a tackle, but I'm with you. I thought overall decent job. I'll give him a B+.
Well, and I think Adams will be a guard based on what I've read. It's Christian Jones, the 5th round pick. That's interesting in terms of like a swing tackle. So yeah, I guess you can be cute here and try to ding him for something, but yeah, I'll join you with a B+. No need to disagree. They had a good draft. They brought in a lot of good players.
No, yeah, and
I'm high on them this year. I'm going to be high on their futures. I already am high on their future market. Nothing happened.
About weed.
in this draft that's going to make me. They didn't Falcon it.
Well, perfect transition to the Atlanta Falcons. Shock in the world, Michael Penix Jr. Then Duke Arroyo out of Clemson there, defensive lineman.
Did you hear his card get read? Guy looked at it like Arroyo.
Who is the?
It's what's the dog from?
Very Scooby Doo.
Yeah. I mean, Braylon Trice. I don't know if we discussed him at all on the show. Just not a lot of guys that get you excited. They didn't have a ton of higher draft equity, kind of the opposite. And to see what they did with it, to not try to trade, like you can say they were directionally correct with like the quarterback value because Bo Nix went 12th.
Okay,
but you probably could have traded down. I got to imagine, unless you thought someone else was going to take Penix.
I do think. Well, I know Denver was pretending to draft up, pretending to move up to take Penix
because they wanted Penix.
Yeah, no, because they wanted to create some. I don't know. They wanted to like scare. I don't know what the game was, but they were, I think, trying to spook Minnesota. Who knows? But I did see Sean Payton, or maybe it was for JJ McCarthy, claiming that they were going to try and trade up to get him. I mean, here's the thing, Ryan. If we're grading the Atlanta Falcons and we're grading it fairly, it's
we're
weird.
Gonna have to wait 4 years.
Well, yeah. That was the other thing. The GM going, well, best case scenario 4 or 5 years, or he doesn't play for.
You
4 or 5
don't know
years.
how good our situation is, you idiots.
Well, you would you have to sign him to another you would extend a quarterback without seeing him start a game. What? You're madmen. So it's weird. Like maybe you can give the draft an A, but then you have to go back and grade their free agency an F. Because there's the best case scenario is Kirk Cousins blows out his ACL. Michael Penix comes in and plays really well.
Look, I don't know a ton about some of these 6th and 5th round picks that they grabbed, but I can tell you that even if you love Michael Penix, with this team, you have to grade this an F. It's an old quarterback behind an older quarterback.
I think it's one of those things. Even if you went JJ McCarthy, you could like buy yourself a little bit more
25,
credit.
But think about it this way: when by the time you get to the point where Kirk Cousins is off your roster, assuming he plays 2 or 3 years,
he has a no trade clause.
Drake London has to be paid. Maybe Kyle Pitts has to be paid. Bijan has to be paid. You've ruined your whole window. It's almost like
the whole reason of drafting a rookie quarterback is maybe don't play him the first year, but the second year, like that's. I mean, think of how many teams the Eagles got Jalen Hurts to the Super Bowl while he was still on his rookie deal. Like that's how you can build really good teams around these quarterbacks. I almost want to go. I'll go. So you're going to give him an F, Ryan?
Yeah, I like Penix.
I'll go D- because Penix might be good, and if Penix is that good,
well, no, but the draft is an F, and I still bet Penix to win Rookie of the Year.
All right, I'll give him an F.
Because
but if they're right with Penix, then
because you just signed a quarterback to a huge contract and you didn't even trade down and get more picks. You didn't do any there was.
I still don't even understand. It's like, well, then if Kirk Cousins winning us a bunch of games and we're picking high in we're in the playoffs, then we won't ever get to draft up here. That's not how you build in the NFL. Like. You gotta be fucking all in. By signing Kirk Cousins, you're already all in.
Just said you're all in. You just made an all in move, and now you're saying, well, we also.
I'm gonna keep these chips off to the side just in case. No, you can't do that.
Someone's getting fired.
Baltimore Ravens cornerback Nate Wiggins, tackle Roger Rosengarten out of Washington, Adisa Isaac edge out of Penn State.
Who was the more productive edge with Chop Robinson?
Chop Robinson's more of a projection.
Yeah. So I mean, TJ Tampa was kind of a bipolar prospect out there. Devin Leary, Kentucky quarterback, someone who I don't know, like athletic ability. Like the late round quarterbacks were all about athletic ability, but probably
I heard someone saying like
Nate
Wiggins is just like a prototypical Ravens defender. But then everything I read about Nate Wiggins as far as his profile was like, hey, very comfortable being blocked, super skinny, not a aggressive tackler out of the cornerback position.
Felt like another
I was kind of confused, honestly.
the whole position kind of fell. He certainly was participating in that. I guess I don't know enough about him. Played for Clemson. Clemson, generally the defenders that come out of that Clemson defense aren't
easy.
pussies.
In the chat is saying TJ Tampa out of Iowa State at the end of the 4th round, steal of the draft.
I told you, bipolar. Either you love or hate that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, you have to. The Ravens are one of those teams, kind of like the Eagles, where it's hard to give them a bad grade most years because their process has generated their success year in and year out. I don't know. I again, there's nothing here exciting. I don't think Devin Leary is a good pick. I don't really know much about.
Give him a solid B.
You want to go B?
I'm going to go B.
I do like the idea of getting the productive edge rusher in the 3rd round. That's a Ravens move right there.
Yeah,
and the tackle they drafted.
I'm just not
will
really
be good.
in love with Wiggins.
I have a feeling he'll be all right in that system.
Yeah,
I'll go B. Would you go B?
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't have as good of a time as the Cardinals. I'll go B as well.
Next up, Buffalo Bills. Traded out of the 1st round, got their receiver in Keon Coleman out of Florida State, Cole Bishop out of Utah. I don't know. Got some O line. Daquan Hardy, cornerback, Penn State in the 6th round. See if he makes the team. I think the biggest thing you could knock them for is trading with the Chiefs, a team that you
soft.
I mean,
soft.
Like,
what are you doing? They're your rivals.
I get it. You need. I mean, in some ways, it is kind of smart. Maybe get that extra 2nd rounder. You got it. They're kind of in a mini rebuild here with turning over a bunch of the roster. But it is small dog energy, Ryan, to trade with the Kansas City Chiefs, a team. I forgot about it, but they were involved in getting Patrick. They were involved in that trade that got the Chiefs to get Patrick Mahomes. Like, have you not learned, Buffalo?
I think I like for the most part, I like their first 5 picks, at least aware of the players. Cedric Van Pran is a great name. I don't think you shared with the audience the 5th round pick, Sean.
And a Fuan Foshio.
Fosho.
Sounds like right out of Shogun.
Ulo Foshoyo.
Ulo Foshio.
I think I'm gonna grade. My grade here is based a little bit on Adam's reaction.
Yeah.
I also heard noted Bills fan Leone from ETR echo similar sentiment as far as Keon Coleman not being the guy that they wanted, and it does seem like this has put them on the edge. Now, Cole Bishop could be a saver. That feels like a Bills player right there. Ray Davis, that feels like he could be something added to that offense. But yeah, I don't know. B minus. What do you think?
I'm giving it a B minus.
B minus. All right.
What are you giving it?
I'll say B minus.
Okay.
When your fan base is pissed off, I feel like that factors in the grade, right?
Yeah. Carolina Panthers traded up into the 1st round to get Xavier Legette.
Traded up for Brooks.
Traded up for Jonathan Brooks. I mean,
come on.
A running back in the 2nd round to me is all out luxury pick. Trevin Wallace, linebacker in 3rd round. They did get Jatavion Sanders. Could be interesting there, but I'm going C minus because
they traded up for unnecessary stuff. It seemed.
Yeah. You didn't need to go up and get Xavier Legette. You don't need a running back in the 2nd round is like that's a luxury item.
When did Jonathan Brooks have his ACL surgery?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like we're really talking about that.
And the owner like getting into it. The guy who owns a restaurant. I don't know.
He tore his ACL in 2023. When was this? I mean, I don't know. I don't think I get it. We're talking about 2nd round picks here, but it did seem like the 2nd round was filled with a lot of competent defensive players after the slip in the 1st round.
Tore his ACL against TCU on November 11th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be healthy week 1. He's not gonna play.
You need impact players,
Sean,
and you need a lot of them.
2025.
You are like the last team that could be trading picks.
I'm
going C minus.
They should have been trading. I'll go C minus.
They should be trading down to get more.
D plus. Yeah, D plus. I don't like Xavier Leggett either.
Chicago Bears, of course, obviously drafted Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, 9th overall, Kieran I'm a DJ tackle out of Yale. The only thing I thought they did wrong, and they only had 5 picks. They drafted a punter. Now, granted, he's a punter for Iowa, but drafting any punter in the 4th round is
can't get an A+.
A- just for drafting a punter.
They did do it right. They got Caleb Williams and Roman Dunze.
Which you're trying to sell a dome stadium. I mean, the more I think about it, if Keenan Allen stays healthy, I think he's gonna have like 120 catches. Like I just imagine they're gonna work up so much easy stuff to Keenan Allen for Caleb Williams.
I don't see how you can. It's hard for me to give them a bad grade here.
I'm going A-.
This roster is ready
Slight
to go.
nick for the punter.
I'm not sure how the Bears will screw this up,
and I don't think their defense closed strong, but they could have used another guy. I think on defense,
I'll say
like in 4th round, I would have drafted anything, edge, linebacker, safety.
Seems like they didn't take advantage of a situation where they could have traded back only a couple picks to pick up some more, especially considering how few picks they had.
Howie Roseman made a bunch of picks.
The Dolphins gave a 3rd rounder for like a 5th.
He traded 8 times. He's already secured a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th in next year's draft.
What I don't get is,
I mean,
why are you giving up a 3rd next year for a 4th this year?
Yeah, we'll see if the picks pan out. I mean, it's always going to be a crapshoot, but he's a master at manipulating the board, getting who he wants, and getting extra picks.
Bears A-. They should have gotten some more picks.
Yeah. Cincinnati Bengals. I saw the Bengals getting some bad grades. Amarius Mims out of Georgia. The knock on him is he only started 8 games. D lineman Chris Jenkins out of Michigan. Yeah, and then they just
an Iowa tight end in the 4th round. That's, you always got to give a positive tick there. Right?
Arizona tight end. Safety, some O linemen.
Not a ton pops off the page.
No, I mean, I'll give them not quite an A, but I like the idea of them taking a O lineman, Amarius Mims. We'll see if he ends up panning out, but decent hit rate on taking a offensive lineman, a tackle in the 1st round at least. I'll give him just a solid B. Nothing really wowed me, but
I'll think. You know what? I'll go B-. I think Mims to me has bust potential.
But who would you have taken over Mims there?
I don't know. The Bengals are an interesting squad. Maybe trade back. I kind of would have preferred one of the other linemen. Yeah. I know they probably viewed this
Mims
as the best
is just a
tackle.
Classic. He's a classic small sample size guy.
It does seem like he popped up.
I would take. You're right. I probably would have taken Jordan Morgan over Amarius Mims.
But I don't know if he's going to play tackle. It does seem like maybe they felt
and Fatanu. A lot of people have more as a guard instead of a tackle. Next up, Ryan, we got the Cleveland Browns. No 1st round pick. They did take defensive lineman Michael Hall out of Ohio State, local kid. Zach Winter out of Michigan. Jamari Thrash out of Louisville, receiver.
They draft well.
Yeah,
you got to start at like B. The highest they could have gotten was maybe a B+.
I think C+ makes sense for them because, I still would have figured out a way to get more picks.
Maybe.
I mean, I guess they did have 6. I don't know.
No 4th rounder, no
Zach
1st.
Zinter. I'll just give him a flat C, or no, C+ makes sense.
I'll go C+ as well. They tend to hit on these picks. I mean, look at their roster; it's pretty loaded.
Yeah,
I mean, they were winning playoff games with Joe fucking Flacco.
Well, probably highlights why they didn't need a trade for Deshaun Watson. Dallas Cowboys, Ryan. Tyler Guyton, tackle out of Oklahoma, who might end up being good. Marshawn Nealand out of Western Michigan, edge in the 2nd round. Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State. Didn't get their running back, Ryan.
Interesting.
They were they didn't get a running back at all.
The linemen they took are good. I think are going to be good. I think this was I'm surprised the Cowboys are catching a lot of shit for this draft. I thought they did a good job. They've done a good job the last couple of years.
That is a disgusting act.
They went out, they picked a couple linemen. That was becoming the weakness of this team. I mean, other than Dak.
That being said, I thought they usually draft pretty well. Still an F for me, Ryan.
Really an F?
Yeah.
Oh, so we're I was gonna go F-.
Okay.
F-. I do like Cooper.
Ryan.
I do like Cooper Beebe.
Is that Don Beebe's son?
I don't think so. Don Beebe was a small man. I don't think his son would be a guard. You think Don Beebe's
maybe he married a big lady.
You're right. I am pretty deep into the digital horse breeding. It is about the mom and the dad. Imagine Don Beebe getting mounted.
No, he is the son of Tom and Tamara Beebe.
Oh, different Beebes. All right.
Okay. Next.
Oh, you copied my F minus.
Yeah,
I'll actually go with a G.
All right.
We need to get lower than
Denver Broncos. They go up. They get their guy Bo Nix, number 12 overall. No second round pick. Jonah Ellis, Utah in the 3rd round. Troy Franklin, all the way in the 4th round. Didn't some people think he might be a 1st rounder? Or am I crazy?
Yeah. I saw some. It seemed odd.
I mean, that's pretty fun that you get the quarterback and the receiver he throws to. Obviously, that worked out for the Bengals, but no one's comparing Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to Bo Nix and Troy Franklin.
Slightly different situation.
Slight downgrade for no second round pick. I think Bo Nix in this with Sean Payton might actually work.
Oh, you don't think this was a desperation? I mean,
if anyone, I think Sean Payton has an incredibly long leash with new ownership, considering the money they've paid him.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, just viewing the draft. I mean,
I don't know. I think Sean Payton really liked Bo Nix.
Yeah, I guess if we're gonna kill the Falcons, for taking Penix at 8, I do think we have to kill the Broncos. Like, I don't know who was gonna take Nix. I don't know who was gonna take him. He was the last guy. Trade back. Like, same reason you killed some of these other teams. They didn't have a second round pick. They only had 2 picks in the top 100.
He could have done a better job manipulating the board.
And I don't think Bo Nix is good.
Okay, that's
the
fair.
one bit
I'm going to give him a B-.
The data I do, I mean, eye test. Bo Nix was not good in Auburn. When he went to Oregon, he got better, and we have tons of data to suggest that it was because of the scheme, a lot of easy shit, and yeah, Sean Payton might produce that. But I think everyone's just like, oh yeah, no, this makes sense. He looks, he's a white guy. Drew Brees. He's Drew Brees. He's got big hands. He's Drew Brees. Would you give it an A?
No, because also no second round pick. I'm gonna give B-. I think Bo Nix might work in this system, so I think they deserve credit.
I think the Notre Dame.
And I'm never gonna kill a team for that needs a quarterback for taking shots at a quarterback in the. I think that's a good strategy. If you don't have a quarterback and you're drafting in the 1st round, I think you should be taking shots.
Okay, I mean, yeah. Talk to the Patriots about Mac Jones. I had that. I mean, that's
what
happens when you reach on when you reach for.
I think that was great.
What do you mean? It was great.
I think that was a good idea. Draft Mac Jones, see if he's your guy.
Disagree. You don't reach on a quarterback because the class next year might be bad. You don't reach on a guy like Mac Jones was not good. Clearly, Mac Jones was not a 1st round pick. Mac Jones was inflated because of the need.
No, I don't think he was. I think Bill Belichick really liked Mac Jones.
Yeah, he was really bad, and it turned out to be a really bad pick.
No, but I mean, yeah, I don't think he was bad because they reached or his price was inflated. I mean, Trey Lance, like, it's just gonna always be a crapshoot drafting a quarterback. But I think
specifically, like, from a prospect perspective, Mac Jones was more similar to Bo Nix in that he wasn't at the caliber of a top-notch guy, but he gets bumped up into the mid 1st round because he's a quarterback and there's no other like the other guys are all gone.
That's true.
And so that leads you to make a desperation bad pick.
I like that move.
But how can you say you like the Mac Jones pick now? It's a horrible pick.
Oh, sure. That would be like, hey,
but that's what we're talking about.
You would say this is like if you got a 16 against a king and I'm saying, well, I got a hit. This is my best option. You go, oh, you busted. How can you say it was a good idea to hit? I think the process of taking shots, if you don't have a quarterback and you have no easy path to get one, take a shot to draft a quarterback. And the Mac Jones thing worked out great in some ways, right? You got Mac Jones. You saw, hey, we can't develop a quarterback. Mac Jones was a complete miss. You lose a bunch of games, and now you're picking number 3 overall. You got another chance at rolling the dice.
I agree. Rolling the dice when the like at that level. in the first round, you want to take those top-notch guys because the guy you're passing on to reach and take a Mac Jones or a Bo Nix is most likely someone that could rise to the level of being an all-pro at that position. And generally at that point in the draft, you're drafting premium positions still. So
yeah, I guess I don't know.
Bo Nix,
if you don't
Denver,
have
Denver Broncos, we'll go D.
Okay.
I think Bo Nix is a horrible pick. Just felt like it was a reach. And he wasn't like he's a second round quarterback. You're taking him at 12.
Yeah. To me,
so that's what we're grading. We're grading the draft.
Sean Payton, he could be a good fit for Sean Payton's offense. And I
don't disagree with that, but he's a second round quarter. He's not a first round quarterback.
Sure. They probably could have traded down and maybe got him in the second round. That's why they're not getting an A. But I think again, if you don't have a quarterback, you're drafting 12 overall, you should try and take a quarterback. Detroit Lions, Ryan, what do you like? Do you like the Lions? Lions
did well.
They stole the Eagles strategy, went cornerback,
smart
1 and 2, Terrion Arnold out of Alabama, Enos Rakestraw, who I had sneaking into the first round. They got him at 61. No third round pick. But got some linemen here, safety, Sione Vaki out of Utah.
When you have a hole and you go and you attack it with multiple picks.
Votes. Yeah.
I think, and you want to talk about that was the Ravens strategy for many years. Have lots of picks, take multiple shots at the positions you need. I honestly, I don't know a ton about the 4th and 6th round picks, but I like the idea of getting Rakestraw, who was potentially, I mocked him in the first round. So yeah, I like that. I'll give the Lions an A-, even though I can't do that. It's not fair. B+ because they don't have the 3rd round pick.
Okay. I'm giving it an A because they loaded up. They got some other picks.
All right.
They got 2 4s.
A-.
Yeah. You can give them B+.
I in general, I'm always going to be in favor of attacking multiple of the same position. They just didn't have a lot of picks.
Green Bay Packers, ton of picks, including Jordan Morgan, tackle out of Arizona. Then they took the Edrin Cooper, that linebacker, who there was maybe a chance he was going to sneak in the first round. They got him there at the second. They also got Javon Bullard out of Georgia, second. Marshawn Lloyd, running back at a USC. They had 2/3, a 4th, 2/5, a 6th, and 2 7th. They even got Michael Pratt at a Tulane. Fun quarterback project there.
Did you see the Michael Pratt draft video?
No.
He was hanging out in his pool when he got the call. Had to pop out of the pool.
Oh, did he jump out?
Yeah, jumps out of the pool to answer the phone. I mean, yeah, Michael Pratt was a guy that I liked. I really liked this draft. A number of dudes we talked about, whether it was Marshawn Lloyd. It does seem like they do well every year, filling some voids with drafting a lineman in the first, linebacker in the second. Not very exciting.
I'll just go A. It was kind of boring, but they had a ton of picks and felt like they got good positional value. So I'll give them an A.
Well, they took a lot of guys that were positional falls, like linebacker, safety, running back.
I mean, Edrin Cooper was the first linebacker in the class. So.
I will say, I know they have some good pieces in the secondary. It did seem like they were really bad against the run last year, but they weren't great against. Like they would have liked to see them take maybe a corner, but I don't know. We'll go B-. B. We'll flat B.
I'll give them an A. Your Houston Texans, Ryan. Start off with no first round pick, but they did get Kamari Lassiter. Cornerback out of Georgia. They got that tackle Blake Fisher out of Notre Dame. Kalen Bullock, safety out of USC. They took a tight end in the 4th round, Cade Stover. Then a couple 6th rounders, 3 7th rounders.
But the first rounder is Will Anderson, so that or CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
so it's hard to go below like a A- for them. We'll go B+, B+ A-.
Yeah, and they still have a bunch of picks for guys who drafted in the 2nd and 3rd overall. Yeah, I'll go B+.
Yeah, again, they traded this pick away because they went and got CJ Stroud and Will Anderson last year, and it kind of worked out for them.
So, what are you giving them, Ryan?
I A-. I'll be nice to the Texans, and I like a lot of the players they brought in. This team, it's almost like the people running the team before didn't know what they were doing.
Indianapolis Colts, Latu, edge out of UCLA, got him 15th, which that was the correct me if I'm wrong, first defensive player drafted. Yep. Kind of crazy. Then they got receiver Donnie Mitchell out of Texas. They got tackle Matt Calvez out of Pittsburgh. Got some more receivers, couple of safeties, some defensive backs.
They double dipped at 3 positions, Sean.
Yeah, they have that. 3 5th rounders. I'm gonna say A, maybe even A+, because you got the first defensive player in the draft at 15. Assuming his medicals are clean, which everyone says, I'll just go A. But yeah, I mean, hard not to like what they did.
I like when you attack positions and needs by just multiple guys. That's the strategy.
Jacksonville Jaguars. They got the receiver and Brian Thomas Jr.
after trading down.
Mason Smith out of LSU, defensive lineman. They got a cornerback, Jarian Jones, Florida State. Couple linemen there. Couple 4th round picks. Couple 5th round picks. 6 and 7. I don't know. I mean, where are you at with Brian Thomas Jr.?
I think we have to give them some credit for trading down, still getting their guy. I think it did seem like he was going to fill that role.
Yeah.
They went out and got another defensive lineman. They've invested a ton there. Both guys, they brought in teammates from LSU. So just kind of finding that strategy of going after good schools. Yeah, I don't know. They drafted a kicker, which is yeah. So they both did a good thing in trading down in the first round to get value, but also took a kicker.
Automatically.
B+, B.
It would be a B+, but you draft a kicker automatically down to a B. Is
B-?
I'll give him a B. I still like Doug Peterson. Kansas City Chiefs. Speaking of Super Bowl winning head coaches, in the first round, they trade up, get their guys, speedster Xavier Worthy. Ryan, I know you're a big fan. Kingsley Kamasutra. Tackle at a BYU, little BYU connection there with Andy Reid. Jared Wiley, tight end at TCU. Jaden Hicks, safety out of Washington State, not listed here because he wasn't technically drafted, but they did sign Carson Steele. A+, Ryan.
A+ because of the Carsons. Xavier Worthy just seems like he's going to be a bust. We've seen this before. I do like the BYU tackle. Thought he could be a first rounder.
Yeah.
Jaden Hicks was not. I did not like that pick at all. It seems like he's like a character concern guy.
But that's what the Chiefs are great at. Late round character guys. I mean, Kelsey was a character guy. Tyreek Hill was a character guy. Like
but they did sign Carson. Carson Steele could take Isaiah Pacheco's job.
I mean, I'm going to be
Pacheco was a 7th rounder.
Yeah, I'm going to be drafting him in best ball.
Oh, 100%. Let's go. All right, I'll say B+.
A+ for me.
I like that. Shoot your shot.
Las Vegas Raiders. Of course, shocking the world, taking Brock Bowers. Not me. I had 66-1. And then they did get Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. This is funny because a lot of people had him going in the first round. Like if they drafted him 13 and Bowers at 44, hypothetically.
What do you mean?
If the Raiders drafted Jackson Powers Johnson, number 13 overall, and Brock Bowers 44.
Yeah, I guess, but Brock, yeah, I mean, sure. Great job. You got the tight end in the 2nd round. Yeah. What do we know why Powers Johnson fell?
There was some medical stuff. So again, that is always tough for us to grade, Ryan. But then, some cornerback, linebacker. I'm kind of disappointed they didn't take a shot on Spencer Rattler in the 5th would be my take. Cause they still need a quarterback. I think
the NFL told us everything we need to know about Spencer Rattler based on what happened with him in the draft.
That's true. I mean, maybe you just doesn't have the frame.
In the way we're doing best ball drafts, you're like, they're not getting a quarterback. They got Gardner Minshew. They got Andy O'Connell.
True. I still would have liked to see him drafted a developmental guy.
It's always fun to take. All right, we got Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. We got the run. We got Zamir White back there.
I mean, I think if Penix was there at 13, I'm pretty sure they would have drafted him.
You think so?
By all accounts, yeah. Like supposedly the Raiders were They were calling
I've heard a lot
Falcons,
of stories about what could have happened.
I mean, yeah, who knows? But why would you? I don't know. Maybe it was just the Falcons putting that out there to make it look less bad that they took Michael Penix at 8.
Like, here's what I'm hoping for next year: just the random Gardner Minshew, Patrick Mahomes shootout. Give me that in the Vegas Dome.
You saw him a couple times, in Indy there, put
early
up some
in the
games
season,
with some massive points.
Look, Gardner Minshew, dude's got swagger.
I mean, I get it. I get taking Brock Bowers.
Had a lot of other needs though. I guess you can't.
Well, it's like one of those things when I do think if you looked at their board, I'm sure Brock Bowers was their best player available. So as analysts, I feel like we kill guys because when they reach for need, you're like, oh, what are you doing? You could have had so and so. When they take their best player on the board, you're like, why would you take that? You already have a tight end.
Who is the offensive coordinator
B-
for the Raiders
currently?
Little trivia.
I don't know off the top of my head.
I believe it's Luke Getsy.
Luke Getsy.
Is he gonna unlock the potential of this 2 tight end dynamo? I'll go B. I think you can't go tight end first if you're the Raiders.
It's true.
I know you got excited because he's there, but that's not the. I don't think Brock Bowers changes your offense like like an elite receiver, so it's not the same conversation.
Los Angeles Chargers take Joe Alt, number 5 overall.
A+.
I mean,
Lad McConkey, A+.
We knew they were going to go O-line, Ryan. We just got cute. At least me thinking it was going to be someone besides Joe Alt. I was like, 5-1, not interesting enough for me. Lad McConkey, I mean, that is a perfect Jim Harbaugh receiver.
Oh, he's already got his squad going.
He's got his linebacker Junior Colson out of Michigan.
Didn't trade Herbert.
No, didn't trade Herbert.
Jerry Rice's kid, he's on the squad. Why? Because now Jerry Rice is in your locker room. Harbaugh's a genius.
Ultimate tryhard too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I mean he's Jerry Rice's kid. He's never going to be Jerry, but he wants to try as hard. Yeah, how can you one of the reasons Harbaugh has able to be successful quickly at all these stops is he immediately knows the personnel he wants.
Yeah.
And so I can't give him, it's gotta be an A.
He has a system. He clearly drafted for that system.
I have to assume he's always gone out and got players, and the players he's gotten have been the right players. So as much as I hate Harbaugh, this is an area I can't knock him.
Los Angeles Rams take Jared Verse, number 1, 19 overall. Braden Fisk. So back-to-back D lineman from Florida State. They take a running back in the 3rd round, Blake Corum, who they're saying is kind of like they remind him of Kyron Williams, which probably not great if you already drafted Kyron Williams at best ball.
I think Blake. I think he's clear backup.
Yeah, I don't. He's a 3rd round.
Not worried about. If I'm drafting Kyron Williams, I'm not worried.
Cam Kitchens, Ryan.
Yep.
Kitchens out of Miami. Brennan Jackson, Washington State.
They drafted a kicker.
They drafted a kicker. Other than that, I like what they did. I think Jared Verse. I don't know. I like the way the guy worked his way up from Albany.
The center, the 6th round center.
Bo Limmer.
Yeah, I feel that's like something a girl does to you. Got a bow limmer.
I'm gonna say I'll give him a B. You're right. They did draft a kicker, but
whatever you. So I love attacking the D line.
I like Verse.
I like getting some running back depth because that was a problem. You've had problems with that in the past, and I like
they could have done a little more on the O line.
They've done well lately getting the players. So again, one of their 6th round picks though, they took a kicker. That's
automatic B.
B. I'll go B as well.
B at most. Next up, Miami Dolphins. Shout out to the Dolphins. Take Chop Robinson out of Penn State. Tackle Patrick Paul. Running back Jalen Wright. In the 4th round, Malik Washington out of Virginia. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't have a 3rd round pick. Slight knock on that. Chop Robinson. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Chop is more a project, not super productive while at Penn State. Patrick Paul, I do like getting an offensive lineman. I mean, I probably would have went O-line the first, but I don't hate edge rusher for them. They lost a lot of guys on the D line.
I just don't think they needed Chop Robinson. I think they needed a big body. I think they could have gone over. Like Newton was I don't think they didn't go after the spots they needed to on the offensive line. And in the 4th round, you go and get Jalen Wright, a running back. You have Devin.
Yeah, you're right. That's a bad pick.
I hate this draft. I think this is a shit draft. I think people are saying nice things about it too. And I've heard a lot of people say bad things about Patrick Paul. So I'll say Dolphins D.
Whoa.
They didn't need Chop Robinson. They lost an interior force, not a developmental project.
I'll go C. You're going D. All right.
D. Sorry, I'm not holding back.
No,
I'm not waiting 3 years to give him a bad grade for this draft.
I would like to see them work their way up to 19 to get Byron Murphy, and maybe that was never in the cards, but him falling to 16 to the Seattle Seahawks, I thought was a nice steal by Seattle. Minnesota Vikings up next, of course. Get their man JJ McCarthy. They need a quarterback. They drafted one in the 1st round. Great idea. They also got edge rusher Dallas Turner out of Alabama at 17. Took a cornerback, Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon. Drafted a kicker, so that automatically sets your ceiling.
What are these guys doing? You can just wait. This is ridiculous. Are you watching the UFL? There's guys everywhere.
Yeah, the kid on Detroit. 60 yards.
Getting Dallas Turner, like not having to trade or lose the 1st round. Like I think the fact that
everyone had him mocked at 8. They got him at 17, and they got. You know what? I'm going to say, I know they drafted a kicker. I'm going to give them an A. They got the quarterback that they wanted without trading up to 4. So I think you deserve credit for knowing the market. You know,
I think they wanted Drake May first, but yeah, I think this is a better option.
It was clear that the Patriots were never moving off 3.
Yeah. Now we know.
Well, because I think the Giants were trying to get to 3. So was Minnesota, which means they had 2 teams giving competing offers. And if you're not going to get an offer you like out of there, you're probably never trading it. So there was a lot of talk about, hey, maybe the Giants take JJ McCarthy at 6. They knew that the Giants weren't going to take McCarthy at 6. They didn't trade up to 6. They held their own. You know, they watched the Falcons draft Michael Penix, didn't flinch. So I think I'm going to give them an A. They got their quarterback. They got an edge rusher in the 1st round.
2 picks in the first 17, and then not another pick for till 107. So I can't get as excited as you, but I do agree. Not having to get crazy. They did trade up 1 pick for JJ. Let's not forget they went up to the Jets pick. But I'll go. What'd you say? A? I'll go B plus. I would. And I do think getting JJ McCarthy after Penix like that, I don't know what we'll look back on as that, but I think, JJ in that offense, JJ to JJ as we've been hearing.
Crack Rock was all over that. Shout out to Crack Rock, the only reporter you can trust.
It's a baby fucking wheel, man.
New England Patriots selected Drake May out of UNC there, 3rd overall. They got Jalen Polk out of Washington, receiver.
He's good. That's a good pick.
Yeah, Caden Wallace, tackle out of Penn State, then some guards, receiver, a couple cornerbacks. I mean, hey, they got the cornerback. I
drafted Joe Milton too. Like, so this is
nice. I missed that.
This is interesting. And by the way, I like how the big news was that everyone recirculated the fact that his pro day was held outside so he could throw the ball really high in the air and not hit the ceiling. I like the Drake May pick. I like the Polk pick. I don't hate the Milton pick. Again, attacking a position you need multiple times. I will say Milton's been a lot of places, a lot of tread on those tires. It seems like maybe he's a one-trick pony. And
yeah, but he's your second 6th round pick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I also think there is an element to a locker room dynamic.
You know who else was
you drafted Drake May 3rd. You have to imagine he's the guy. I know that you're going to cite Kirk Cousins and RG3, but Joe Milton just being there as a piece of fodder for Drake May to.
I mean, Joe Milton might not make the team. This is a great pick in the 6th round.
You think Joe Milton would get cut? Someone would pick him up. That arm is too tantalizing.
I mean,
maybe
or maybe Ryan. There was another quarterback they drafted in the late rounds. a couple years back. Yep. And everyone said not a chance he's gonna make it. Next thing you know, he's broadcasting games as the undisputed GOAT.
Joe Milton's a bum. Joe Milton ran.
I'm talking about Scott Zolak.
Joe Milton ran from Mr. Harbaugh.
That was a really
Michigan,
good joke.
So be careful.
That was a really good joke.
I'm
right?
sorry.
My Scott Zolak joke. Come on.
I mean, yeah. Hopefully, the younger fans understand.
I'm going B+. What are you doing?
Yeah, they got their quarterback. I like the receiver they did get in the second round, and hard to grade them here. They did the right thing. At B+. They didn't screw it up.
There you go. New Orleans Saints. Talise Fuaga at 14, who I like. They also got Kool-Aid McKinstry in the second round. Now they don't have a third or fourth round pick. They ended up with 3 5s. They took a shot on Spencer Rattler in the 5th, which I don't hate. And then I don't know, linebacker, D-line, tackles.
I think Spencer Rattler plays tight end.
Bub means, I don't know. Maybe he's going to be the take over Taysom Hill's role. I think since you didn't have a third and fourth, I got to knock you for that. But I like what you did in the top 2 picks, O-line and cornerback. Again, I don't think it's going to matter because you got Derek Carr as your quarterback.
Yeah, that's
so.
You think Spencer Rattler? So.
I can see Spencer Rattler coming in and becoming the alpha over Derek Carr. Now, I could also see Spencer Rattler playing one game and getting lit up and never seeing the field again.
He was broken by Caleb Williams. Could it be unrepairable? And he had a horrible offensive line last year. It'll be interesting to see him play in the preseason. I'll be curious.
I'll give him a B. Spencer Rattler is going to be a great preseason DFS.
I like their early picks. So yeah, I'm with you. I'll
but
go.
No third or fourth rounder. I got to knock you for that.
I'll go B. I like I agree. The Rattler pick's interesting.
Next up, New York Giants take Malik Neighbors, 6 overall. Tyler Nubin, safety out of Minnesota.
Cost us some money.
What do you mean?
Not being the first safety.
Yeah. They also got a tight end, a running back.
Well, Theo Johnson, we were talking about, Sean. He was chalk in the second tight end market on Friday.
Because he tested really well. But there's like a thing going on where the Penn State's really good at getting their guys to test well, and maybe teams are becoming skeptical of that.
Well, certainly it caused him to. I mean, he fell to the 4th round, even though of that. Now you go look at the deep numbers. I'm prepared for this because the Giants drafted him. Turns out his quarterback sucks. Drew Aller is. I mean, we can confirm he sucks. A lot of off target throws, but yeah, I mean, he was certainly interesting. I am a fan. Another system I'm a fan of is drafting a running back in the 5th or 6th round every year. So this is a new Giants regime. This is interesting. I've been told by multiple UCLA fans that the linebacker the Giants drafted in the 6th round is quote unquote a stud. But yeah, I mean, I think again the Giants needed secondary help. I like what they did there. My only knock on them in this draft is they weren't able to get Drake May. Perfect. They didn't panic and draft JJ McCarthy. Took Malik Neighbors, game changing receiver. Very excited. Watched lots of highlights for him. And the Nubin and Phillips picks, they double tapped the secondary need. My knock on this draft is probably would have liked to see offensive line, maybe somewhere in there. Guard.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a D.
Ooh, spicy.
Well, you don't have a quarterback.
Spicy.
You need to draft a quarterback. You didn't do that.
Malik Neighbors was, at 6, he's 3rd on most people's board. Sean.
Yeah, but you don't need a receiver. You need a quarterback and you need offensive line, Ryan. That's how you win in the league. And you didn't do anything to make those 2 positions better.
Love the haul. This is my favorite Joe Shane draft.
D.
Yeah.
You can't. The 2 most important.
A-.
All right. The 2 most important areas. For
why is JJ McCarthy going to such a great situation in Minnesota? Because Justin Jefferson's there. Get your elite guy. I like that over taking JJ McCarthy there.
No,
who probably isn't going to be good. Your strategy of taking the bad quarterback is interesting.
No, don't take the bad quarterback. Take shots on.
If you don't think the quarterback's good, you still think you should waste a pick on it? That doesn't make any sense.
You drafted 6 times. There's one of those should have been a quarterback.
Not if you don't think they're any good.
So there was no good quarterbacks in this draft.
Clearly, the NFL agreed. There wasn't. There wasn't a one drafted after the 12th pick until the 5th round.
Yeah, take one in the 5th round.
They didn't like him. They brought Spencer Rattler in. If they liked him, they would have drafted him.
You get to like him. All right.
You don't just
Drew Lock era.
Again, I'm getting a Lock jersey.
Okay.
Dead
I don't know.
serious.
I don't know why you're threatening me.
I'm not threatening you.
I think you got to take a shot on a quarterback.
But I just don't get your strategy. Even if you don't think it's
strategy,
even if you think the quarterback isn't worth the pick, you should still take the pick.
I think it's okay. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to be relevant in the NFL. You should roll the dice and draft.
But for the hit rate on 5th round quarterbacks is like nothing.
So yeah, take one in the 1st round.
The one that they wanted wasn't there.
Well,
They're not. So don't take a shit quarterback just to take them. Your strategy makes no sense.
I don't know if I don't. So you're saying, but
you take Malik Neighbors because he's an elite team changing prospect. And again,
he's not going to change the team.
I'll recite the reason that Minnesota is this, great happy place for Justin Jefferson or JJ McCarthy to start his career is because Justin Jefferson's on the team.
That's
so get one of those.
It's a happy place. I didn't say that.
No, most of the NFL
and he drafted
media
him later in the 1st round, and there were other receivers that went ahead of him.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you have to find the best the best quarterback available at 6 and draft him.
Well, even if you don't think he's the guy, that doesn't make sense.
One of these quarterbacks is going to be good.
Okay.
Mark my words, you're going to look back and regret not drafting a quarterback.
Okay. Which one? Is it going to be Bo Nix, Michael Penix, or JJ McCarthy?
I think Michael Penix.
Okay. And so when the Giants take Michael Penix at 6 there, what do you do?
What do I do?
You crush them for taking Michael Penix at 6.
Me personally, maybe, but I still think it's a good strategy. Yeah. No, I would say
you don't know ball right now, Sean.
What I do know,
you don't know ball right now.
I know you guys don't have a quarterback and you didn't get one. That's a whiff.
All right, but you don't take a shitty quarterback just to take a quarterback.
That's loser mentality.
What do you mean? Loser mentality is drafting someone a fucking is a loser.
You said Ryan.
They wanted Drake May. They couldn't trade up for Drake May. Don't take the kid who's got a swollen fucking face. A little baby face. JJ McCarthy. They don't think he's going to be good.
Don't be mean to JJ McCarthy.
They don't think they said he said all those. The Giants, or they would have taken him.
But the Giants are not great quarterback evaluators. And also, if Brian Dable is this guy that can mold quarterbacks, if he can take Josh Allen, you killed the Buffalo Bills for drafting Josh Allen, and then Brian Dable made him one of the best quarterbacks of all time. There's not a one
of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
A very good quarterback. You're telling me he couldn't get a
Josh
winning
Allen
season out of Michael Penix? You're telling me he couldn't get a winning season out of Bo Nix? He's Brian Dable, the quarterback whisperer. He can't get a winning season out of JJ McCarthy
because they don't want to draft 25-year-old starting quarterback. So the JJ McCarthy was the only guy. And anyone who watches ball knows that JJ McCarthy is unexciting with a low fucking ceiling.
So when
you don't draft him at 6.
What's the plan for quarterback?
Drew Lock.
Okay.
Tommy DeVito.
So
Daniel Jones.
I would rather have Michael Penix than those quarterbacks. I would rather have Bo Nix than those quarterbacks. I would rather have JJ McCarthy than those quarterbacks.
All right. You would be wasting a lot of picks.
What do you mean?
Drafting shitty players. Why would you draft a shitty player? Why would you draft a player that you think is bad?
I wouldn't. I don't.
You would force yourself to think they're good just because they're the only choice.
No.
Okay. Well, that's what you're suggesting. The Giants should have forced themselves to like JJ McCarthy because he was there.
I think
that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I think you should have drafted one of those 3 quarterbacks.
Okay.
I'm gonna put all those 3 quarterbacks.
The 3 quarterbacks that were drafted before they went.
No, the 3 quarterbacks after they.
Okay.
Went.
Yeah, none of those guys are winning a playoff game.
Oh, do you think Drew Lock is?
Drew Lock versus Bo Nix.
Give me Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy, and Bo Nix versus Tommy DeVito, Drew Lock, and Daniel Jones.
That's not the point.
What do you mean? It's not.
That's not the point.
You had the chance to pick one of those guys over your current guys, and you decided no.
Sure.
Okay. I don't think that's a good strategy.
Okay. We can move on. Your strategy of just reaching on a quarterback is not good. You should not take a quarterback if you don't think they're the guy. Period. I stand by that strategy.
Okay. I think if you don't, my strategy is if you don't have a quarterback, you should take shots on them until you find your quarterback.
Yeah, but not when you can take a Malik Neighbors. What are you talking about? None of those guys were 6 picks. They obviously didn't view it that way. I think, I don't view it that way. I don't think you view it that way. If you had the 6th pick there, you would not have taken JJ McCarthy.
I might have.
If the okay, move on.
I would have at least traded.
Move on.
I would have at least traded down to 11 and gotten a haul
shit
from
dripping out of your ears. Let's move on.
No, you don't have a quarterback. I think it is a good strategy.
You can give them a bad grade because you think they didn't draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
But you can't say that they should have drafted a bad quarterback.
We don't know they're bad.
Okay.
So
I'm saying they're not good. I wouldn't have been happy if they drafted him. I told you this.
No, you said you were fine if they draft JJ.
I said I would have been unhappy if they took JJ McCarthy. That would have not made me happy.
Peace.
I was at peace because it might have happened, but I was really hoping it wasn't going to happen.
Okay.
That's not an exciting pick. You would have loved that pick because he's going to suck. He's going to be not exciting.
No, I love the fact they didn't get a quarterback because there's a chance. There's at least hope with those 3 other quarterbacks. There's no hope on the current Giants roster.
Okay.
New York Jets. Olamiwe Fashanu, tackle out of Penn State. No 2nd round pick. Malachi Corley. Braylon Allen, running back in the 4th round. They took a shot on quarterback Jordan Travis. That's a good strategy. Jets. I mean,
A+ then, huh? Took a running back in the 4th round. All the things you like. Took a quarterback with a leg that may not be right.
I don't mind taking a shot on a quarterback in the 5th round.
I like Jordan Travis.
I think Jets are in a completely different situation quarterback wise than the Giants. If you want to compare it, they don't have a 2nd rounder. I'll knock them a little bit. I do like taking Fashanu. There was all talk about Brock Bowers. They could have taken Brock Bowers. Instead, they did the sensible thing and drafted an offensive lineman. So I'll give them a B. Not super impressive, but I mean the fact that
they didn't take Brock Bowers.
So I think they deserve credit for that because
just like the Giants took Neighbors and didn't reach on a 2nd round quarterback. It's the same thing. They did the right thing for their team there. They didn't reach on something just to get excited. They did the right thing from a team building standpoint, but I don't think you can give them a very good grade. I don't like the receiver they took. To me, this team added in areas that don't make sense.
Well, it's also in the 3rd round. They didn't have a 2nd round pick. I'm going to knock them for that.
Their first defensive pick was at the end of the 5th round. I mean, CFL guy, by the way.
I'll go C. You're right to knock them for the defense. I'll go
say
C+.
B. I'll say B. Well, the tackle. I mean, they were.
I'm just laughing that you were more critical, and then I knocked them down.
No, but
you didn't.
By the fact that they took the offensive lineman, though, that could have been easily fucked up.
Many people have this next team graded as an A+. Philadelphia Eagles drafted Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo. Great cornerback. First cornerback selected in the NFL draft. Then they went back to the cornerback well. Maybe the safety well. Maybe he's being held down, Ryan. Maybe they could. Everyone's
he's
saying
white. He's going to be a safety.
Yeah, they're calling
or a slot guy.
The Rosa Parks of cornerbacks. He's going to fight through. He's going to be a cornerback.
Why'd he fall?
Why'd Cooper DeJean fall?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I mean, one, I think the fact that everyone took. Well, there is some injury stuff with Cooper DeJean, so we'll see about that. Also, it didn't seem like people were high on the class in general. So he probably fell a little bit because of that. So again, we'll see. But I like the strategy of you needed a cornerback help. You not only did they, I mean, there was a lot of talk about the Eagles trading up from 22 to get Quinyon Mitchell. They stayed pat. They didn't do it. They did trade up to get Cooper DeJean, and they hopped in front of the Packers, who by all accounts were going to draft Cooper DeJean. Like I said, they added a 3rd, 4th, and 5th for next year. They got Jeremiah Trotter Jr., fucking legend. Jalix Hunt at a Houston Christian, who Vic Fangio, I guess, saw him in the Shrine Bowl and was like, if I only have one thing to say, it's please, we need Jalex Hunt. So the fact that they're so high on him, Aeneas Smith, who's kind of tiny out of Texas A&M, but Colby was hyping me up on him, so I'll buy in.
He's a gadget player. So is Will Shipley.
Yeah, I mean, those are the type of guys you take shots on. Had 3 guys in the 5th, 2 in the 6th. Johnny Wilson. Maybe one of these guys pan out, but
Johnny Wilson feels like he's never going to play. He's going to be like, every time we get one of these like 6'6" receivers, they never.
They also signed. I don't know if you saw this, Ryan. They did sign John Ross, who came out of retirement. That'll be funny.
He played for the Giants for a little bit.
And Mekhi Becton, who
I don't know if I like that signing.
Why?
Oh, just like lazy is a disease that you don't want in your locker room.
That's before you get to Jeff Stallard University. Right?
I have no doubt the Eagles have good offensive line training, but lazy is a different type of training.
Yeah,
and when you're ready, come on, he's a lazy motherfucker. I wouldn't want him in my building.
I mean, maybe he got humbled. I don't know. I'm skeptical, but he's a guy that the size, you can't teach that kind of size. So, I mean, if they can get anything out of him, kind of interesting. Obviously, it's an A+ draft. Kramer.
Well, I think you got to give him an A. I like Quinyon Mitchell at 22. Quite annoying. They didn't have to trade. Apparently, they were close to trading up. It turns out they didn't need to trade up. Cooper DeJean. It does sound like there are some concerns about the injury stuff, but obviously to fall. And he's a white guy, so won't be playing cornerback.
Might be returning punts.
Oh, okay. And the fact that they were able to get a 3rd rounder next year from the Dolphins for a 4th rounder this year, you dumb motherfuckers. I'll go A.
Nice. Steelers. Troy Fontenot, O-lineman out of Washington. Zach Frazier, O-lineman out of West Virginia. Roman Wilson, 3rd round pick out of Michigan. They
got rid of Deontay Johnson. The Roman Wilson will basically, I would imagine he'll help do the same things that were going on there. I mean, they got a center and they drafted offensive lineman. This feels like Arthur Smith's about to just 55% of the game run the ball down your fucking throat.
Yeah, I mean, the only way this offense is going to work is if Russell Wilson has some time, or if Justin Fields gets in there. These guys need time. So loading up on offensive linemen, first 2.
Good draft.
I'm giving him an A.
I'll go A. And Peyton Wilson was the 2nd in the linebacker market. It goes off 97th in the 3rd round to the Steelers.
Yeah, no one cares about linebacker anymore. It's
but they get the most out of them.
49ers. Ricky Pearsall, receiver out of Florida in the 1st round. Renardo Green, cornerback out of Florida State. Tackle Dominic Pooney out of Kansas. After that, kind of a ho hum. They did have 3 4th rounders, so give them a little credit for that. Ricky Pearsall. I guess this is weird because it felt like maybe they were doing that, and then they were going to trade Debo or Ayuk, but they're still on the team.
Like when does it become not tradable?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I mean, if you're gonna trade them before the draft, so you can get
So I would say their draft was okay, but the guy to circle, if you're playing the old best ball or whatever, this Isaac Guerendo from Louisville, track guy, feels like the kind of guy that could randomly excite us in preseason. It's the classic Shanahanian running back. I guess you just got to do like a B or a B+ with these guys.
I'll go B-.
I will say I don't like
the 49ers.
Ricky Pearsall and I generally don't like the guys that the draft nerds all get really excited about. He does seem like one of the nerd receivers this year. So I'll go B, flat B, for that reason.
Seattle Seahawks. Byron Murphy at 16, defensive lineman out of Texas. Christian Haynes, guard out of UConn.
Those picks.
2 4th rounders, a 5th, 3 6s. They got tight end AJ Barner. I mean, again, I'm just what they did in the 1st and 3rd round. I thought was very, very impressive. Now they don't have a 2nd round pick. I forget, was that part of the? Maybe that was part of the Russell Wilson trade.
No, that was that was traded to the Giants for Leonard Williams, who they just gave some money to. So you know it's one of those weird, like they probably shouldn't be giving up a second rounder for Leonard Williams, but he's also a really good player.
But they extended him, I guess. So I'll go A- because the Byron Murphy getting him at 16, I thought was a very savvy move.
Giants would have been happy if the Giants drafted Christian Haynes, the UConn guard. He sounds like he could turn into a really nice player. Will fit into that system nicely. But we love Byron Murphy. I think we might have talked a little bit about AJ Barner. Yeah, I like the draft. Ceiling was a B+ though because of the Leonard Williams thing. So give me a B+.
All right, I'll go B+ because of the trade. Tampa Bay Bucks. What did they do? They got Graham Barton, 26 overall. All right, you need O-line help. They also got edge Chris Braswell out of Alabama, safety Tyreek Smith out of Georgia, Jalen McMillan out of Washington in the 3rd round. So I had 2 3rd-round picks. Bucky Irving, running back out of Oregon, he could be interesting. Yeah, I mean, I like Tampa Bay. I mean, yeah, maybe they should have taken a shot on a late round quarterback. I'll give him a B+.
Very sensible draft.
Yeah, it wasn't
very boring.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't do anything. You know, they didn't draft a kicker. They used high round picks on offensive linemen, defensive linemen. I mean, it's hard to knock that. They could always use an edge rusher, and you got to protect Baker. So Graham Barton, let's go.
And I think, I mean, we liked all the Washington receivers. So Jalen McMillan as a 3rd-round pick. It does seem like the Bucks are constantly loading up in the receiver room.
Yeah, he's a guy that certainly has a nice ceiling. So I'll go B+.
B+. All right, B+. Feel like I'm getting nice at the end here.
Tennessee Titans. JC Latham out of Alabama, who a lot of people thought was going 5. Defensive lineman Tavondre Sweat out of Texas.
He's huge.
No 3rd-round pick. They got linebacker Cedric Gray, cornerback Javarius Brownlee Jr. I mean,
this team already loaded up, right? Like they're going.
They did
for
a ton in free agency and then went O-line, D-line in the first 2 rounds. No 3rd-round pick.
Tavondre Sweat is a character concern guy. Apparently he's lazy. I believe he didn't weigh in at the combine because he might have been north of 400 pounds. So I guess you gotta hope that you got someone in the building to help that out. But yeah, all the offensive line folks are saying that JC Latham could easily be the top guy. So we'll go. Would you give it a B-?
Yep.
I'll go B- as well.
Last team, Washington Commanders. Ryan, they select Jaden Daniels, number 2.
Oh, I love this draft.
Johnny Newton out of Illinois in the 2nd round. I thought he could have shot up the boards. They had 3 2nd-round picks. A cornerback out of Michigan, Mike Still, tight end Ben Sinnett out of Kansas State, offensive tackle Brandon Coleman, Luke McCaffrey out of Rice, aka Christian McCaffrey's brother.
What are they trying to do over here in Washington?
Again, they drafted a bunch of guys. They had a ton of picks. I love Johnny Newton. I love that they got their guy in Jaden Daniels. I'm skeptical that Jaden Daniels is going to survive in the NFL.
Yeah.
Probably still the guy selected 2. Again, quarterback is a bit of a crapshoot. That's why you need as many rolls of the dice as possible. I'll give them an A, Ryan.
Yeah, they you have to. You 3. I mean, they had 5, 6 picks in the top 100. We love Newton. Shocked to see him go in the 2nd round.
Yeah,
we talked a lot about Ben Sinnott out of Kansas State. He certainly is going to be productive right away in that offense. And yeah, I think everyone was excited to see where Luke McCaffrey was going to fall.
I saw some offshore had a line. Will Luke McCaffrey get drafted by the 49ers? Yes, +100. There was no option for no.
All right. So who, I mean, how does Washington screw this up?
Oh, he'll get hurt. I mean, I hope not, knock on wood, but I'm super skeptical of Jaden Daniels' frame.
Who did we give? Did we give any A+? All right. Let's both give an A+ to Washington.
I gave Eagles A+.
Oh, okay. I think it's funny. That's, I mean, winning the off season.
And I gave the Chiefs A+ because they drafted Carson Steele.
Yeah, winning the off season is what you want to do. Jets were last year, A+. Jets won the draft.
All right, Ryan, we got some best bets for the association. Before we do that, shout out to Unified Healing. Oh yeah, Unified. Whether you're a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, we all understand the importance, mental and physical well-being, proper recovery for top-notch performance. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of Draft Grades. Unified Healing is a new, super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by the Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. If you haven't heard of EE System yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you're here in LA or hundreds of other locations across the globe, access to a center is both easy and affordable. Interested in experiencing the EE System technology for yourself? Go to unifiedhealing.com/SGPN to learn more and find a center near you. That's UNIFYD healing.com/SGPN. No material testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment, and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including EE System. All right, Ryan, time for our best bets for Monday, April 28th.
We got Terrell with us, so we have some actual expertise.
Joining
you're
us
an expert
on the line from the NBA Gambling Podcast, Mr. Terrell Furman. Terrell, what's happening? Suns just got swept. How you feeling about that?
Oh man, I mean, it's just like, when Shawn Michaels had Ric Flair's last match and he looked at him and Ric Flair was on the ground all old and crusty. Come on, give me your best shot. And Shawn Michaels is like, I'm sorry. I love you. And he puts him down, sweet chin music, and it's over. His career's done. That's what happened with KD. And honestly, this entire Suns roster, because I don't know how you don't blow it up after this.
Yeah, but I don't know if they can because they've spent so much money, so much guaranteed.
What a loser!
I mean, I don't know who takes Bradley Beal.
What a loser Kevin Durant is.
Kevin Durant too. It's like
loser
getting swept. Come on, man.
Loser.
Come on, man. All right, we got some action tonight, aka Monday night. Boston Celtics laying 10.5 in Miami. I'm tempted to take the Heat once again, just because it seems like this is a zigzag type series. Although, the home teams seem to struggle in this matchup. I know you like fading the Celtics historically, Terrell, but what are you doing here on a Monday night? Is Boston that much better, or does the Heat have a chance to bounce back here?
Well, I mean, people haven't been watching my show if they think that I'm taking the Boston Celtics in this spot. No, absolutely not. It's 100% we're down on the Miami Heat here. And this is the reason, because when does Boston let you down? When everything points in their favor, when everything is going their way, when they're riding high in the mountaintop, when they coasting and they think that there's no possible way anything can go wrong, it all comes crashing down for them. It happened last year. It's the reason that we cashed Heat plus 3.5 games on the series spread minus 120. And it's going to be the reason why they drop another one. I expect the Heat to get the 3-ball going. Bam's going to have another good day. Start your centers against the Celtics. I'm all over the Miami Heat. I think this is a great spot where they're going to catch this Boston team slipping and make this a game.
It is. It's always fun to fade the Celtics with expectations. Love Eric Spoelstra off a loss, especially in the playoffs. Kramer, what are you doing?
I've been people seem upset that I was talking shit on Celtics fans.
I made sure that we got that clip out there. It's always great to engage the Boston fan base.
It's fun what causes engagement.
But also too, honestly, if you're a real Celtics fan, Brian was like going out of his way to call out fake Boston fans. Yeah. So in some ways, if you're complaining, then you're identifying yourself as a phony.
I kind of have this vision of a pre-pink Boston Red Sox hat scene in West Hollywood, California. So like there was a time before that when fans actually cared about the team. Yeah, no, they're soft. Not as soft as Kevin Durant, but the new age NBA Boston fan is a little soft. Yeah, no, come on, we're never not going to take the Heat here.
No, I know.
This is.
We still have to do the. You still have to walk through it officially.
Only 27% of the handle on the Heat right now.
Thunder at the Pelicans right now. The Thunder laying 4.5 in New Orleans, according to Chuck, aka Charles Barkley. They're dead on arrival. I already see Terrell getting his broom out. Did you see Chuck saying they're not going to Cancun?
Going
they
to
don't
Galveston.
They're going to Galveston with their dirty ass water, and they think they have a beach. He was really clowning on Galveston. You got the sweep out. I'm assuming you're laying the points here with the Thunder, Terrell.
Oh, absolutely. I had my broomstick ready. It was sitting here next to me because I knew I was doing this show and I knew I needed the prop. They're done. That first game, that was it. And I called it. That's what I was talking. When I saw that game and I saw them win the rebounding battle, I saw how they played defensively in that game. And the fact that when it came down to the wire, the real fact of the matter is that they had nobody they can go to. They couldn't go to Brandon Ingram. They couldn't go to CJ McCollum. Whereas SGA, Jalen Williams, all these players from OKC continue to step up in the fourth quarter. I don't really care how this game goes in the early part of the Pelicans. I think in the second half, talent is going to play out. You have the coach of the year, Mark Dagnall, who's been running this team and got them to a 1 seed. I think that this is it. This is going to be a sweep. I don't think the Pelicans are in this game.
Yeah, I mean, CJ McCollum, as much as I love him, has been a 0 here. Brandon Ingram's been disappointing. To your point, like he's
a bum too. He's soft, very soft.
Yeah,
he gave you benched,
Yeah, they gave you that shot in game 1, and it was like, all right. Oh wait, yeah, this other team's way better. I mean, the fact they didn't really have a pulse in game 3 really concerns me. Again, like I think they were happy they got into the playoffs. Zion was out. They were never going to really compete. I was maybe a little concerned about the Thunder being young and complacent, but you saw in game 3 they weren't. They were locked in. So I think they roll here for the sweep and the cover. Kramer?
Oh, I mean, when I looked at the card for tonight, I was like, well, this is easy. I love OKC.
That's you're not jinxing it at all.
No, come on. This New Orleans. I mean, you guys went against me, I believe, in the last game. Maybe it wasn't you, but the Thunder, like you said, a lot of quit.
I thought Pelicans might show up in game 3.
I see a lot of quit. And how was the crowd? How was that crowd handicap?
Smoothie King.
Yeah.
Hey, it is actually a really lit environment. I've been.
Yeah, it was just they didn't. I thought they would have. I thought it was like a half thing of Pelicans showing up at home in desperation mode, and 2, like the Thunder being too young and inexperienced, and that really wasn't there.
Just get me a Chet jersey.
You saw it in game 1. They were a little nervous. They almost blew that game. Since then, they've been locked in. So
I need my Chet jersey. I'm all in on this Thunder team.
Get Kramer a Chet jersey.
Laying more. Who knew I'm on a favorite here.
Last game of the slate, the LA Lakers avoid the sweep. They win the first and second half. Rare occurrence for the Lakers. I kept waiting for the Nuggets to turn it around and win that second half and pull it out. Couldn't do it. Goes back to Denver, which, part of me thinks, hey, this Nuggets team is so much better. They're going to roll, but I think the Lakers hang around. I don't think they're a live dog, but I think they do cover the 7.5. The league will make sure they get a favorable whistle. They will get to the free throw line, but ultimately the Nuggets will get it done. I just don't know if they'll cover the 7.5. Nuggets haven't been great as big favorites. They've only covered what? They covered one of these games so far in the series. So we'll see here. Or no, sorry, two. They one at home and one on the road. I don't think they cover this one. Give me the Lakers and the points. How say you, Terrell?
Yeah, I mean, they've given us the game script in these games so many times. The Lakers get out early. It looks good. It looks like they're going to do it. And then here comes a second half collapse. And then, by 3, 4, 5, even 6, maybe even 7, but not 8. The Lakers lose this game. I'm taking the Lakers plus 7.5, but I'm telling you, take the Lakers plus 7.5 and parlay it with Denver money line. Let's get really spicy here. Let's get really spicy and let's do it. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right.
No, I know Scott Reichel always likes to give out the Nuggets to win by 1 to 8 points or 1 to 10 points. I think Nuggets to win by single digits, I think, is a really fun bet. We'll have to see what the pricing is on that one. I don't know if they quite get to the 8, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all good. But it does feel like it's Nuggets. You know, LeBron avoided the sweep. After all, he said it is just basketball, but I do think they get the cover.
160 minutes. Anthony Davis, 168 minutes in the series.
It's crazy.
Now they get on a plane. They go to elevation. They could get washed.
They could quit in the fourth quarter. That's definitely a possibility.
I will say this. Let me add this tidbit. I know you guys are NFL guys. I will say 8 is a key number in the NBA. 8 is a key number.
Okay. So what if we get a little slippery here? What if this game gets out of hand? Nuggets minus 17.5 plus 360. Let's go. Put that one down.
Sorry. What is it?
Nuggets minus 17.5.
Wow.
What made you say 17.5?
That's the farthest the slider would go. It was the biggest price I could get. I needed a blowout prop. I mean, come on, Denver. That too many minutes. They're tired. That's it. This was they sat up off the mat, and poor LeBron. Now he can go off to Pittsburgh to hang out in Duquesne dorm rooms with his son.
Duquesne. All right. So if you had to lock up one of these, what's your favorite play here, Terrell?
Okay, see minus 4.5. I can't see it. I can't see it. I think it's over.
I'm with you. I'm going to copy that lock. Kramer.
Yeah. All
Copycat.
3 of us.
Yep.
Put us all on the ground.
What can go wrong?
Yeah, it's usually a good sign.
No, this is where it's at though.
You know what? I need to, maybe I'll update my profile picture to get Chet Holmgren's face on my body.
Terrell, before we let you go, what is your grade for the New York Giants in their draft this year?
I'm going to say A because they didn't take a quarterback.
So
because if they took a quarterback, we would have been forced. And I heard the Discord. We would have been forced into at least 3 to 4 years of bad quarterback play until they decide to take another one, because nobody ever takes back-to-back quarterbacks when it doesn't work out. So yeah, no, A, because they didn't get done. We get Malik Neighbors, who will be one of the top wide receivers for sure.
So excited.
2 counterpoints. Patriots moved on pretty quick from Mac Jones. So did the Steelers. So did the Arizona Cardinals. So I would.
Mac Jones
wasn't it still 3
McCarthy
years
in this scenario?
What's up?
It was still like 3 years of Mac Jones.
Mac Jones 3 years? That was only 2 years.
2.
No, was it 3?
Yeah, you're right. It was 3.
Because
but he got to the playoffs that first year. What about Kenny Pickett though? They moved on right fast. Yeah. Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, a lot
2 years. Both winning, but 7 and 5, both years. Kenny Pickett, my boy happens. Kenny can't get a break.
Well, that's what happens when you reach in the first round for a quarterback that isn't a first round talent. You move on in 2 years.
No, if you're a great,
you're
franchise,
making my point.
And then you have a shot to get Russell Wilson or Justin Fields.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Hey, make sure you check out
this. Russ is gonna have so much fun learning from Justin Fields this year. Like the fact that he gets to sit behind a quarterback like Justin Fields this year and learn how to play quarterback, he's going to be one of the best free agents next year from what he learns from Justin Fields this year.
All jokes aside, I'm Russell Wilson will be one of my highest owned best ball quarterbacks, I think, with Will Levis. They're free at the end of these drafts. You draft them all the time.
Will Levis 100% because Will Levis has a chance to go up. Russell Wilson, like, there's no rushing.
He's a backup quarterback. Why are you drafting a backup quarterback?
Terrell knows what's
you got to get some Fields too, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the draft, you can go. You can get Russ,
Justin Fields and Russ stack in best ball.
I would take Drew Lock over.
You
Russell
can get
Wilson.
a Russ or Justin Fields, Cordero Patterson stack at the end of these drafts for free. It's available to you. Cordero Patterson has entered the building in Pittsburgh. Let's go. We're Steelers fan. Here we go. There's the Steelers.
Hey,
there's going to be one game where that stack hits, and we're never going to hear the end of it.
I know. Welcome to Wild World Tour.
Cordero, I will be playing him DFS week 1. When should we do our first DFS week?
As soon as they
prices
put out the prices.
Let's go.
All right, Terrell. Thanks for calling in. Make sure you check out Terrell on X at ReallyRel _ and check him out on the NBA Gambling Podcast.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
You don't reach on the quarterback, Sean.
Kramer, let it ride.